What's going on, guys? Today we're going to learn how to restring a guitar. This is brought to you by GuitarChord.com, the absolute fastest way to learn how to play guitar or banjo. Not only will you be playing instantly with the newly packed Guitar Chord device, we teach 3 levels of online lessons on guitar or banjo, and it's all for the beginner at one low price. So let's get into it. So the first thing we want to do when we're changing strings is get rid of these strings, all right? So first of all, we're going to loosen all the strings. So what do I mean by that? Hear how that's down pitching. Get all these strings loose. So we'll go to the next one. There's some important things to know when changing strings on a guitar, and I'm going to hit on them heavy when we get to it. One of the first important things is if a string breaks, make sure you get all the little frillies off the top, like that one just did. And if they break like that on you, see, it's not going to hurt you or anything, okay? But you will end up with pieces of string wrapped around here, which you're going to need to get out. Sometimes you got to get pliers. It's best to use some little tools, because if you start pressing this with your finger like that, you see that end right there? That can easily penetrate skin and cause you to bleed. So we don't want that to happen, all right? So that's one way to take strings off. Another way to take the strings off or use wire cutters, and you just hold it up like that, cut the wire like that. Another way to take these strings off is to completely unwind them from the tuning peg. This is a tuning peg right here. All right, so we'll completely unwind it. Now, some people like to completely unwind their strings so they can keep them for backups in case they have a break like we had over here. All right, so just make sure you keep them labeled so you know what string it is to use. So you work that out of the hole, and there you go. All right. So we got all them loosened up. Let's go ahead and get the rest off here. So we're going to clip. Old set of wire cut. I don't know how many guitar strings I've cut with these wires. I wish I had a nickel for every one I did. All right. So we're going to get all these out. We're going to use a little pair of pliers or something. Make sure we don't hurt ourselves getting these two right here that we broke. Get all them off and get all these cleaned up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got all our strings undone from our tuning pegs up here. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get these tuning pegs set to accept the new string. And this is what I mean by that. So on the holes where the strings go in, all right, we got to have just like that. So that'll be ready to accept the new string in it like that. So we want to go to all of them. Make sure they're all set. Okay, just like that. Because they're going to accept the string just like that. You don't want the strings going in over here. You want them to come in like this. Keep them where they'll be nice and ready to tune, and just go through them all like that, both sides. Okay, and they're all good and ready to accept the new strings. So now all our holes are lined up and we're ready to put on new strings. What do we do next? We got to go to the bottom. Now on acoustic guitars, most of them have these pegs right here, and these are what anchors the strings to the guitar this way. Now with an electric guitar, I've never seen an electric guitar with pegs before. Usually they have a hole in the back and they slide through, or they slide through from the back of the guitar up to the front of the guitar. So with these pegs right here, you pull on the string a little bit and pull them out, okay? Like that. Sometimes these things can be stubborn. This is the peg right here, okay? It has a little groove in it where the string slides into. These things can get a little stubborn sometimes, so you may need a pair of pliers, and that's all right. Get your pair of pliers, pull them out, all right? But sometimes you can just pull on the string that you've got loose. That's why you loosen it from the top, and your string pulls out like that, all right? So we're going to pull this one out. May need a pair of pliers on that one, okay? So once you pull these pegs, you see the string sticks a little bit, but there's the end of the string that goes in that hole, and that's what the peg holds down right there, okay? Get rid of that, and our final one right here. Wants to be a little stubborn, but there we go. All right, so now we've got all the holes unplugged, okay? And these are the little plugs. Now, these plugs, you want to replace them every once in a while, and I mean like every 5 years, maybe 5-10 years. They're about 50 cents a piece, and they're get them about anywhere, okay? So get them done. Now, after we get all that done, we want to clean the oil off this fretboard. So as you're playing a guitar, you're going to get oil off your fingers on this fretboard. So what I use is a alcohol-based guitar neck cleaner. All right. So on these frets, you want to concentrate really heavy on these frets like that. And you want to get all that oil off, all the way down it, just like that. Scrub it good. Alright, so you can see I've only played on these strings about 20 hours, but that's the oil that comes off of them. And I wash my hands every time I play guitar. I'm not nasty, okay? So then finish cleaning off the rest of it like this. Get it all ready for them new strings. Now, a new set of strings is going to last about 40 hours of playing. That's going to be their peak performance. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably think, well, my guitar's got strings on it, it's good to go. And yeah, it is. But if you want the crisp, clean sound of a new string, change them about every 40 hours. The average guitar player plays about an hour and a half. So if you play every other day, you look at every couple of months, you're going to change your guitar strings. If you play more than that, you do the math. All right. So let's look at our guitar strings. Now this brand is by Ernie Ball, which I don't promote them at all. I don't get no money from them, nothing like that. But as I was looking for guitar strings, Ernie Ball's a good name, Fender's a good name, Gibson's a good name, GHS is a good name. Boomers are a good name for guitar strings. They're going to run you between $11 and $13. The reason I picked these because they were on sale for $11. The other ones was $13. Next time I look, somebody else will have one on sale for $11, and these will be $13. So I'll get them. So no particular on that. What I am particular on is the gauges down here. This is an 11.5 gauge. Now on an acoustic guitar, you want to have a 10 to a 12 gauge. So if you're not real sure, start in the middle, about 11.5, all right? But you don't want to go any smaller than a 10. And you don't want to go any higher than a 12 if you're playing a standard, just sitting around a campfire guitar, all right? So these are called 11.5s, and that's how they're classified by the first string. That means the first string is 11.5. Second string's a little bigger, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth string. All right, and that just has to do with the gauge. Don't really get into that, but you know, between 10 and 12 is where you want to start, and that's what you want to buy for your acoustic guitar. Now, all this other stuff, what's it say? Phosphorus, bronze, alloy, custom light, yeah, whatever. All right, good brand. Gauge. That's all that matters. All right. So let's pull them out and see what we got. Now when you get strings out, they're going to be identified by a few different ways. All right, so there's the 54. And this is going to be the biggest string. How do I know that? Because the next one is a 44. So that's second to the biggest string. One after that, 32, 22, 15.5, and then there's our 11.5. Now sometimes they'll say first string, second string, third string, fourth, fifth, and sixth, like that. But keep them in order. However they're labeled inside the package, keep them in order so you don't put the wrong string on the wrong in the wrong hole. Okay, so we'll start with the top one, number 54. So when you open the string up, it's wound like that. So go ahead and unwind it. Just like that. So when we start, we got to put it in this hole where we pull the pegs out of. So you take that end of it right there. Okay, it don't matter which way you put it in like that, but just put it in deep enough. And you see how these pegs have these grooves on them, right? So you want that groove to cover the string. You don't want the round part right there on the string. You want to set that groove, that string inside that groove right there. So how far you push it in, it really don't matter, okay? So you just want to cover the string with that groove, push it in, just like that, nice and snug. So before you tighten this down, pull the string back till it don't go any further. Then push in, okay? That way you know that string's at the top right there, okay? So we're going to get all the rest of these strings in and we'll be right back and we'll get them up on top. Okay, so we got 5 of the strings in. Now this is an important thing when you're putting these pegs in. Make sure when you press that peg in over the string, the groove, that the string is facing toward the top of the guitar like this, all right? So we got one more to put in. I'll show you what I mean. This is the 11.5. This is the smallest one. And we put all the strings on in order, like they come out of the package. Kept the package in order. Went from the top, being the biggest, of course, and then down to the smallest. All right, so there's our groove. We're going to cover that cover the groove over the string. Make sure the string is pointing up. See what I'm saying there? Okay. So the groove will be pointing toward the top of the guitar, right? Okay. And there you go. That's all facing up that way. Because you don't want them coming out down here. If you do, you're going to have to wind it up there. You're going to have a lot of string stretching and it just won't be right. So let's go up to the top. We'll take our biggest string first and we'll run it up. All right, so you remember how I told you the holes had to be in line there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and run that through. Now, you want to get it you don't want to yank this thing tight, but you want to get it pretty snug. And this is why. Some people will wind their whole string around this tuning peg right here. When you do that, you've got all that string to stretch. And it's going to take some time. It's going to take some effort to get them strings stretched out to where they will stay in tune. So what I teach and what I do is to pull the string till it's about right there. Important fact number 2, you don't want to miss this. Okay, when you're tightening this string, it has to tighten to the inside of the guitar, like that. You can't do it like this, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let it wind like that. And this is why. Pretty self-explanatory. That's where your string ends up. All right? So, all 6 strings wind to the inside or the middle of the neck, like this. Now, once you've made that first round, you want to bend this up like that, and you want that string to go under. You see there? You see how that, once it went around? So now, that's on top. Try to get a real good close-up of this. So that's on top, and this is going to wind under this. Okay? So what I'm going to do is press down right here as I'm tightening to make sure it gets underneath this thing right there. Okay? So we'll go to our second string. Important fact number 3, don't clip these strings till you're done putting them all on, because they will stretch and they will pull out the hole and you will waste your string. Okay, that's important step number 3. Gonna do it the same way. Pull it snug but not tight. I can't tell you how important this is. You've got to tune this thing going that way. This has got to be facing the inside of the guitar. You don't know how many times I have friends or whatever, they're like, hey, can you tune my guitar? It just won't tune. And their strings are coming around this side of the guitar. It's kind of crazy, but all right. So again, we're going to bend that up. We're going to make our first wind to where it goes around underneath the bottom. So we can just kind of hold it down. And it will wind on there in uniform and be good to go. All right, string number 3. And you're going to watch me put all 6 of these strings on, because you don't know how important it is to wind them the right way on the guitar. All right, so here we go. We got string number 3 in the hole, got it set. I'm going to start winding. Let's see. So if we're going this way again, let's just wind it that way just a little bit. I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so we will start winding that way. Now this string is going to be on that tuning peg and it'll never be right. Okay? You never knew there was so much science to putting a guitar string on, probably, but there it is. All right, bend the string up out of the way, push it down, get that wound. Now I know they look a little loose, but that's all right, because they're secured on there. And again, we're not going to cut until we've got this guitar in tune like 3 times. We're not tightening these. We're not cutting these strings. All right. So now the other side. It's going to go opposite of this side, but still got to wind toward the inside of the guitar. About to make our first pass, so we're going to bend that up. Press down on there, because we want to make sure the string winds underneath where this is bending out the hole. So we want it underneath that hole, just like that. All right, so that one's good. Fifth string. And I appreciate y'all hanging with me and watching this. I love teaching guitar lessons. I love teaching about the guitar. I've studied it my whole life, and now I get to pass it on. All right, so here we go. Hold on. Are we going the right way? Let's see. Let's see if we're going the right way. We going the right way, yes or no? Yes or no, right way? No. Coming around, getting ready to make that pass. Gonna bend it up, press it down. Now these smaller strings, they stretch more, okay? So as you're tuning it, you're going to, you'll have more winds around your tuning peg than you will the big ones, because these just stretch more. And I talk about the strings stretching, man, it's crazy. You know, the tension that these strings take, these metal strings actually stretch, you know, and they stretch about that far. All right, overall, one string. But I guarantee you, I mean, you might be able to, but I couldn't pull one of these strings and stretch it apart like a rubber band. Woo. And if you can, I hate to meet you in the dark alley, all right? So let's put this last string on. Are we right? Are we right? I hope y'all getting this point. Are we right? We're gonna be playing this string out over here off the stage. No, that's not right. So I'm figuring you probably know what the point I'm trying to get across today is it don't matter what strings you use, it don't matter what guitar you use, it don't matter what kind of music you play. You got to put your strings on right. All right, sixth string, I'm gonna bend that up, come around the first pass, press down so it goes underneath. And that one already started stretching a little bit. All right. So that's how you put strings on a guitar. Now, if you need help tuning, check out Tuning Guitars for Beginners on Guitar Chord YouTube page, and go from there. GuitarChord.com. We're going to make a star out of you.